The weekend box office used to provide a bit of a thrill, for most people anyway, for serious moviegoers anyway. For some, finding out what film was the top-notch earner was a way of verifying if a larger audience agreed with your choice. Sometimes you found that you really liked a film that few others saw, or other times you realized that no matter how good the trailer was or all the hype that surrounded a given film, even at its most expensive, sometimes they're just films that weren't worth seeing. In that sense, the box office earnings are kind of a scorecard for winners, losers, and, well, the tryhards. So in that spirit, let's look at how Godzilla x Kong stayed on top and how everything else found a way into last place. Or at least, that's what it seems. Here we go. So let's face it, there is no need to bury the lead. Everybody out there that is in their right mind was already taking Godzilla x Kong New Empire as the big winner this weekend. How big? Well, we'll get into that in just a second. But first, just a quick reminder that I am on my way to the milestone of 25K by the end of this month, which we're really close. I think we can do it. So please, if you're here for the very first time or for the 1,000th, and you're still looking down there at a little red subscribe button, please make this the day that you turn it to gray. That will help me a lot. I will truly appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. And now, let's take a look at these numbers. So, Godzilla had another impressive cut at the box office with about $31.7 million this weekend, bringing the domestic total over $135 million, so it's not bad. But there's something to be said for these blockbuster films, and if you look at it from that side of the equation, that really wasn't great. Even more telling was the prediction of significant fall off from week to week, and well, we got that right here. As is seemingly the new norm, there was a 60% fall off from weekend to weekend, and that puts this film in a frame of, let's say, superheroes and similar fare, and what will likely be a continuous tapering off of all the earnings so far. Globally, this thing's sitting at a $361 million of earnings. It's getting closer and closer to that profit window. It probably will get there. It didn't have a huge budget either at $135 million, so it's doing better than most of the large budget films that we've seen recently. And I say it that way because we're going to look at another film with a pretty decent budget that really is tapering off far too quickly in just a moment. So if Godzilla x Kong continues to roar on for another couple of weekends, it will already be getting near profitability. So it's hard to say if that will happen at all, but it's more likely than not. So good news there for legendary Warner Brothers Discovery once more with another beneficial partnership. Now the bad news is second place. Nothing from second place down looks good at all, but second place is rough. The new offering in theaters is a shocking allegory pick that wasn't made clear until the opening weekend. This is Dave Patel presenting Monkey Man, and that thing only had an acquisition cost of about $10 million for Universal. And from all the background stories that went along with this film, from the fact that it was a nightmare from beginning to end, it likely won't earn a follow-up if charting is any indication here. And if it weren't for Jordan Peele, this film would have been streaming bound anyway, so if you're gonna get another Indian John Wick type, it's going to have to be there because it's not really ringing with audiences in the theaters. And if you want a review of the film, which I think is rather fair, go check out Mr. H's YouTube channel and check out his review, because I would say that's probably the definitive one. Coming in at third is a chilling holdover. Very disappointing. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. It came in with a paltry $9 million. That is not a great weekend's earnings, putting the 3 weeks total for this film at an embarrassing $88 million. And this could be a real blow to Ghost Corps and to Sony because they had plans for a franchise here for a very long run. And outside of that animation thing that's going to be coming out somewhat soon, I just don't see a financial incentive to move forward. A global $138 million is a very low number at this point, and the international markets just don't seem to be showing up for this particular film. Now, in fourth place, we have another huge disappointment, the first Omen. And in what is a very soft $8.3 million domestic, this film's going to struggle. It only had a $30 million budget, and it's going to need some impressive legs to get on the profit side of things. If you want to continue to remake these older horror films, you got to do better. Horror is usually a big winner because the budgets are so very low, and even at $30 million, this one will have to rely on resales to other markets and like streaming services. And now wrapping up with the top 5 with a near tie is Kung Fu Panda 4, dropping another $7.8 million into the coffers with its 5th weekend, and it extends its domestic earnings to $166 million and the global total to over $410 million. So it's doing rather well. So this film is actually already seeing profit on top of that, and any film with these kinds of numbers on an $85 million budget is right now as close to studio gold as you're going to get. It is worth mentioning that Dune Part 2 is still rocking the box office with $7.2 million in 6th place this weekend, which we don't normally talk about 6th place, but its global total to date is over $660 million. So this movie could make a 3rd film with more budget, but honestly, will that really help wrap up this trilogy that largely would have to be crafted out of whole cloth? And what do I mean? Well, since the ending was so drastically different from the source material, I don't think you can do a fair adaptation of Dune Messiah. I mean, I'm sure they'll do what they can, but it may be wildly bad. Now for the worst news, I guess. Overall, this weekend was a real bummer for Exhibitors, with only an $83 million take in total revenue. That's largely driven by the top 6 films, which we just talked about. And this is a huge drop-off from what may be the norm, at least up until summer. Up ahead, we have a Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare to look forward to, but outside of that, we may have quite a bit of a drought. That's not good. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about the very tame box office weekend we just had, and what you think is the outlook going into the summer. Use the comment section down below for anything else as well, and while you're down there, click that like button and share this out to the entire world, because it really does help. As always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya.
You're welcome to the CultureCasino, where it's all about the dough. We're talking box office, baby, just so you know. The big winners and losers from Hollywood's finest. We're breaking it down, no need to rewind this. We're breaking it down, no need to rewind this. Monday morning, we're catching up on the digits. Who took the top spot and who had to pivot? Millions in ticket sales, we're talking moolah. And if it take, well, they might call it a flop fuller. Box office rap, that's what we're about. CultureCasino, bringing the cloud. The highs and the lows, we're spitting the stats. Catching the trends and discussing the